Hey. Welcome back to Stronger Than Before. I'm so glad that you are here today. Whether this is your very first episode or you've been with me for a while, I want you to know this space is for you. This is where we get real, we get honest, and we do the work of becoming who we were always meant to be. I'm your host, Kellie D'Andrea, and today's episode is one of the most personal I've ever recorded. I almost didn't record it because when something is this close to your heart, there's a real risk in sharing it. But what I've learned, and I hope you have too, is that vulnerability is not weakness. Vulnerability is the foundation of genuine connection. And if my story can reach even one person who needs to hear it today, then it is worth every word. And I'm so happy I'm recording it. Today, we're going to talk about how to find miracles in the middle of difficult times. And before we go any further, I want to be clear about something. I'm not here to sell you toxic positivity, and I'm not going to tell you to just look on the bright side, as though that phrase ever dissolved any real pain. What I am talking about is something harder and more honest than that. I'm talking about how we metabolize pain, how we walk into the fire of a difficult season and come out on the other side. And how we come out on the other side is not just intact, but truly transformed. I have been in multiple fires. I have been in trauma after trauma after trauma. And I want you to walk through what I've learned, not from a place of having all the answers, but from a place of having lived it. So find a comfortable spot, maybe pour yourself something warm or cocktail, and let's go there together. But first, if this show means something to you, please just take 30 seconds right now. Subscribe, leave a rating, or share this episode with someone you know who's in a hard season. You have no idea how far a single share can travel. It might land on exactly the right person at exactly the right moment, and you can always find more resources, more tools, and ways to connect with me at KellieD'Andrea.com. Okay, let's get to it. Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Endora Candles. Endora isn't just a candle, it's an experience. Every candle is hand poured, made with 100% soy wax, and it's designed to do more than just smell beautiful. It's meant to take you somewhere, to a memory, to a feeling, a moment of peace. And here's what makes it truly special. Inside many of our candles, there's a hidden piece of jewelry or a crystal. It's a reminder that even when we feel things uncertain on the outside, there's always something meaningful waiting to be discovered within. Whether you're unwinding after a long day, setting the tone for your morning routine, or just creating space that feels like you, well, Endora candles are designed to support those moments. And because you're part of this community, I want to offer you 20% off the offer. So you can use the code HELLO20 at checkout. Go to EndoraCandles.com, explore the scents, and find the one that speaks to you. I want to start by telling you what has been happening in my world, because I think context matters. I believe that when we share our truth, really share it, it gives other people permission to acknowledge theirs. The past year or in the past decade, I experienced 4 significant losses with a very compressed window of time. And I use the word losses intentionally because even when something hasn't fully ended, a loss of your life you knew, of the version of normal you relied on, is still a loss, and that deserves to be grieved. The first thing I want to talk about was my dog Rex. I know if you're a pet parent, you already know. If you're not, just listen. But these animals aren't just pets, they're family. They're pure, uncomplicated love. He was the only thing that provided me so much love every time I was with him. Rex was my Yorkshire Terrier. And after I moved away to another state, he started to get ill. Now, as a pet parent, as I am, you think, God, did I do this? Did I disrupt his life so bad that he's now sick? I don't know, but this illness put our entire household into crisis mode. I wasn't there to fight for him, and I had to rely on others to assess his health. As a control freak, you have to know how hard this was for me. But we had doctors, medication, sleepless nights. We rode every wave of uncertainty together. In the end, we had to say goodbye. And even though his passing was peaceful, The quiet he left behind was anything but. Our life was permanently changed. The rhythm of our lives was different, but I still carry him with me. The second loss is harder for me to say out loud, and it was my mother's health. Years back, she survived breast cancer. We exhaled. We celebrated. She rang that bell and we were overjoyed. We thought we were on the other side. We went through so much agony, and then she rang the bell and we thought it was over. But then a few months later, she received a new diagnosis. Her cancer tumors turned into her lymph nodes. Our family was back into the fight. One scan at a time, one treatment at a time, one day at a time. I want to sit in that for a moment because I think sometimes we rush past the weight of something like this to get to the lesson. But the lesson only means something if we acknowledge the heaviness first. My mother's illness is one of the hardest things I've ever navigated. Not to mention her death. It was an unreal experience that I hold on to every single day. I actually remember when she told me about her new cancer. Her and I, we went out to lunch as mother and daughters do. And we were just having sandwiches and she just told me. She told me in such a way that it was devastating to me and I cried. How could this happen to us again? How could this happen to you? You're going through this process and you can't formalize your thought process. The third is I had a stroke. And I want to say that very delicately. I had a stroke. I want to just let that land for a second because when I say it out loud, even now, it still catches me. You never expect that word to be in your story, and yet there it was. Here, I put my dog down. My mother has, she got rid of the cancer, but now it's coming back. And then I had a stroke. A reminder, more forceful than anything I've ever received, is that the body keeps score and that we cannot pour from an empty vessel. That the urgency we feel about our careers and our to-do list is nothing compared to the urgency of being alive. So once I had the stroke, my mom passed away. So she passed away. And I was in recovery, so I couldn't even speak. I've lost my voice. And the fourth loss I want to kind of mention here, and in some ways, it's probably the most professionally disoriented, was losing a position I've devoted 20 years of my life. No conversation, no warning, no transition, just a sudden ending without the dignity of a proper goodbye. If you've ever have been let go without warning, you know what particular kind of whiplash. It's not just a loss of income, it's the loss of identity, the loss of rhythm, a loss of the version of yourself that lived inside that role, gone. So I have all these traumatic events all happening within the same season of my life. And I want to be honest with you. There were moments I didn't know how I was going to get through the week. There were moments when the weight of all of it was sitting on my chest. At the same time, it just felt unsurvivable. But the reason that I did survive, and I did survive, is because I got through it. And so can you. With whatever season you come through or standing inside right now, you are here, you are listening, and that means something. So I want to share 3 lessons this season has burned into me. I call them lessons, but honestly, they're more like anchors. Things I return to over and over when the ground feels unstable beneath my feet. The first anchor is this: the universe is working for you, even when it doesn't feel like it. I know, I'm going to let that sit in for a minute. What you have to recognize is you will survive. The universe is working for you, even though at this moment it doesn't feel like it. Now, I know that statement can feel hollow when you're in the middle of a crisis. I'm not asking you to pretend the pain isn't real or the loss isn't devastating. What I'm inviting you into is a version of trust. I want you to come in and accept this as not forced, but earned through my experience that says that this is not the end of my story. This is a chapter, a hard chapter. And maybe it's the hardest one yet, but a chapter. When I lost my job, my instinct was to scramble, to immediately replace what I've lost, to prove myself again to someone, somewhere. And then Rex got sick. My mother got her diagnosis. I had the stroke. My mother died. And I was forced to slow down. Not by choice, but by necessity. And in that slowness, something unexpected happened. I started to see the shape of what I was actually meant to build. The career that serves not just a company's bottom line, but the people I was born to reach. So I started developing the stronger framework with real intentionality. I started showing up to this podcast with a different kind of depth. I started calling my family and my friends every single day. The universe didn't take that job to punish me. It cleared the calendar so I could find my purpose. And that purpose was to give me time to spend with my mother. It was only 2 weeks, but it was enough to sit by her bedside and just acknowledge her. I was still recovering from my stroke, so I couldn't speak, but she just needed me there, and it was wonderful. So here's a question I want to sit with you. Here's a question I want to sit with you in. What might your current difficulty be making space for? I'm not asking you to answer it right now. I'm asking you to stay with it. I'm asking you to think, what might happen in this space if you didn't have your current difficulty? And here's the first practical exercise, especially this week. You want to write down 3 things you've been forced to slow down on or stop entirely because something hard in your life. Then next to each one, I want you to write a single question. What might this pause be revealing? You don't need to answer it. You just want to hold on to it. Because once you have this in your brain, you are in a way to surrender. I mean, true surrender, not resignation, is one of the most courageous acts a high achiever can take. Because we are not wired to let go. We are wired to grip together. But sometimes the miracles in that release kind of give us a pause. So lesson 2 is gratitude. Gratitude is the gateway to liberation. I know when you're in this midst of hard times, it's tough to feel liberated. It's tough to give gratitude. It's tough to give thanks. But the reality is, if you have gratitude and you give thanks every single day, your life will change. And before you roll your eyes and stay with me, just stay with me, because I'm not talking about gratitude journal filled with 5 generic bullet points written on autopilot at 6 a.m. I am talking about gratitude as a life-altering practice. As a choice, you have to fight for the days that doesn't come naturally. And when you're in the moment of despair, when you're in that moment of anguish, just give thanks, give gratitude to the things that you have. For me, it was my daughter. It was my health. It was being able to move ahead, even if it was just me taking a walk. When my mother received her new diagnosis, I went through what I can only describe as anticipatory grief. I was grieving the losses that haven't happened yet. I was living in the worst possible futures, pre-experiencing pain. I was trying to protect myself and others. And in doing that, I was missing the present moment entirely. And then one evening, we were sitting together at her kitchen table, and she was telling me a story from her childhood. And she was laughing, really laughing. The kind where tears come and something in me cracked open. She's here right now. She's here. And she's laughing. And this moment is real and whole and precious. And I was missing it by living in the future that hadn't happened yet. So gratitude pulled me back into the room. It grounded me in what was real. It said the present moment has gifts, and in that, the fearful mind simply cannot see. I want to talk about something I call the gratitude gap. This is the distance between where you actually have and what we allow ourselves to notice. Research in positive psychology shows that human beings have what's called a negative bias. Our brains are wired to notice and hold up on negative experiences more vividly than positive ones. It's an evolutionary survival mechanism. But in modern times, it means we're systematically undervaluing the good that's right in front of us. Closing that gap requires intentional practice. And here's what I invite you to try. Instead of a generic list, write one deeply specific gratitude each day. Not I am grateful for my health, but I am grateful for the way my body felt on that walk this morning. The sound of the wind, the fact that I could do it all. Specifically, what gives gratitude its power. The more specific you are, the more real it becomes in your nervous system. And here's the second exercise. It's called the life audit. You want to grab a piece of paper after this episode and you want to write down top 5 priorities in your life, then look at your calendar for the last week. How much time did you actually spend on those 5 things? I mean, seriously, think about it. How much time did you spend on those 5 priorities that is going to enhance your life? The gap between your stated values and your daily behavior is the source of tremendous amount of quiet suffering. And what gratitude does, it helps us realign. And let me say one more thing here. Gratitude is not only an internal practice, it is an act of love. Tell the people in your life, specifically out loud, what they mean to you. Don't save it for a eulogy. Don't save it for a card once a year. Say it today. Tell somebody that you love them. Go out with a friend and say how much they mean to you. One of the hardest lessons I've learned is that time is not guaranteed. And the words we don't say are the ones that hurt the longest. So say it. Lesson number 3, and this is probably the most powerful, is forgiveness. What you need to know is forgiveness lifts heavy burdens. It's the one I had to fight hardest for. And I know, let's be clear. What about forgiveness is not, it's not condoning what happened. It's not pretending the hurt wasn't real. And it's not reconciling with someone who has not earned your trust. It's not forgetting. Forgiveness is the decision. And it's a decision, and it's not a feeling. You want to stop letting someone else's behavior drain your energy. After I was let go, I had every reason to be angry. And I was for a while. I had given that company 20 years of elite performance. I'd scaled teams, built systems, delivered results that I was proud of. To this day, I'm still proud of my work. But in the end, I was let go without conversation. And the hurt was real and the anger was valid. But here's what I've learned about resentment. It's an extraordinary expensive. Carrying it takes up mental bandwidth that you could be using to build the next chapter of your life. It keeps you anchored to the past when the future isn't standing right in front of you. It shrinks you, and you are too big. Your purpose is too important to let somebody else's choices keep you small. So forgive. There's a truth I return to often. Carrying resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. Forgiveness doesn't make what they did okay, but it makes you free. I also want to speak about forgiveness in the context of illness and grief. It is so human to feel anger at diagnosis, anger at the cancer, anger at the universe, forgiveness to somebody you love. And that's anger needs somewhere to go. But when we let it fester, it turns inward. It closes us from every moment of love and presence that makes the hardest seasons unbearable. And I want to add something personal here. After my stroke, I had to practice forgiveness towards my own body, towards myself, for the ways I pushed past every warning sign. For the years of I'll slow down later had arrived, and I had to make a choice. Spend my energy in self-recrimination or spend it in rebuilding. I chose rebuilding. And I'm so glad I did, and I'm so happy for it. So I have an exercise for you. And so you have one for each lesson. So here's your last exercise. I want you to write a letter you would never send. Address it to whoever or whatever. You're still carrying resentment towards someone. I want you to write everything. Don't edit yourself. Don't be polite. Get every bit of it onto a page. And then at the end of the letter, write, I release this from my body. I chose to reclaim my energy for my life, then burn it, tear it, or delete it. The act of releasing is powerful, not because it makes the situation okay, because it makes you free. And remember, you deserve the same grace too. For the ways you stayed too long, for the things you missed, for the version of yourself that was just doing the best she could with what she had, let all of that land. What I want to say is the miracle is already here. So where does all of this leave us? I'm giving you 3 lessons. I'm talking about all the trauma. I'm talking about 3 lessons or anchors that you could put into your life. So where does this all leave us? I want to return to the word I chose for today's episode. And the word is miracle. Because I think we imagine miracles as dramatic, sudden and undeniable events. Something from the sky, a reversal of fortune, a cure that comes out of nowhere. And maybe sometimes they are that. I mean, from my experience, they could be anything. But the most profound miracles are far quieter. They are the memory of a dog who loved you without condition. They're the way that love lives on in you and how you move through the world. They're the stories that you tell. They are the mother who, in the middle of a cancer fight, can still make her daughter laugh until she cries. There are the stroke moments that force you to slow down long enough to finally build the life you were meant to live. There are the job losses that cleared your path. Miracles are available in every hard season, but you have to be present enough and willing enough to look for them. So what miracle might you be missing right now because you're too close to your pain to look up? What gift might be wrapped inside the hardest thing you're carrying? You don't have to answer any of this today, but I want you to be willing to ask the question, because here's what I know about you. The person who chooses to press play today, you are a seeker. You are someone who refuses to let difficulty write the final sentences of your story. And that refusal, that stubborn, beautiful refusal, is itself a kind miracle. I want you to know that whatever you're going through, you are stronger than before. So before I let you go, here is your challenge for this week. 3 things. One for each anchor that we covered today. Number 1, you want to practice trust. Write down 3 things that you feel uncertain or painful right now. For each one, write the question, what might this be making space for? Carry it with you. You don't need to answer. It's just the willingness to hold the question in your brain. Number 2 is close the gratitude gap. Choose one person you love and tell them today, specifically out loud or in writing, exactly what they mean to you. One person, one specific thing, do it today. Watch what it does for both of you. Your life will be amazing. And then number 3, you want to begin your forgiveness practice. Write that letter. Give yourself full permission to say everything and then release it. If forgiveness feels too big to carry alone right now, that's okay. A therapist, a coach, or a trusted mentor can help. You don't have to do this work in isolation. I also want to share that the Stronger framework, the 8-step methodology I built from my own experience of loss, reinvention, and recovery, is available as both corporate training program and individual coaching. And if you navigate a season of identity reconstruction, whether from a job loss, health crisis, grief, or any significant life disruption, I would love to work with you. You can find more at my website at kelliedandrea.com. And please, if today's episodes resonate with you, share it, post it, tag me, send it to me. Send it to someone who is in a hard season right now. You never know who needs to hear that they are not alone, because you are not alone. That miracles are real, that they are stronger than before. You want to subscribe to the podcast whenever you listen, and you want to visit me at kelliedandrea.com to access free resources. And together we're building a community. So until next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and remember, the miracle isn't waiting for you on the other side of the hard seasons. It's right here inside of you, waiting for you to look up. I'm Kellie D'Andrea. This is Stronger Than Before. I will see you next week.